and welcome to Sporty Jibberish. I'm Stuart Booth.
I'm Joe Luffman.
Exciting times. It's our penultimate episode before our 1 year anniversary, Jack.
Unbelievable, that, isn't it?
Unbelievable. You been get some sun in. Look at the state of your forehead.
It's absolutely shocking, isn't it?
I wasn't even on about the skin. I was on about your hair.
That's what's killed me, though. Have you seen it? I didn't take a cap last week, did I?
Alright, that's not what it is.
Done me.
Done you a treat.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to the...
I feel like this, look, so nobody can see it.
Yeah. Your neck is in the way now.
Oh, shadow.
It's not looking
Cast in
good.
a shadow.
It is not looking good
Cast
for you.
no shadow.
Oh, we're not going to start singing.
There we go. You know about that, don't you?
Yeah, we're moving on from Oasis very, very quickly. It's not like Merson doing his Oasis challenge, is it?
Yeah.
Right, anyway, on today's show we're going to be talking football. Something called the European Super League almost happened this week. I'm going to Scooby-Doo, but that's also going to be the talking point. We will be covering my football match because you're doing absolutely nothing at the moment.
No,
maybe the occasional game of cricket. Not even cricket, golf, sorry.
We played some golf, yeah.
Okay, we'll have a chat about that.
Yeah.
We'll be looking at the IPL, which is in full swing, as they say. A little bit about Premier League. A certain Jose Mourinho. Interesting news from his point of view. A little bit about boxing. I'm interested about this because Callum Johnson, one of your own.
Yeah, one of our own. Boston Town.
I genuinely thought you were going to go into another song then. I was like,
I can do if you want.
I just teed him up. Anyway, we'll start with Sporting League.
How do you get on, Stu? I actually don't know because I've not seen you at work today.
Yeah, so I'm in bits. I can barely walk. So yes, we played last night. We played the Bears. It's usually
the Chicago Bears.
The Chicago Bears, usually big lads. The fridge.
The fridge. My brother's playing.
Yeah, but yeah, we played the Bears last night, and dead bizarrely I'm just not having a good time for a goal last night.
Oh,
just wasn't happening.
Shooting blanks, mate.
Well, the first one, I think we're about 3 or 4 minutes in, ball gets played through and one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but as I've turned to receive it, he just come rushing, he's just rushing with the keeper. So I placed it past him, and he's got his hand, it's come running out the area like this, and it's hit his hand, but it's going in. Referee, nothing.
No.
I'm like, how's that nothing? And he's like, no, he didn't mean to hit his hand. But if he doesn't hit his hand, that's a goal. That's like hitting the defender on the line, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's got to be something from there. So that just set the tone of the night, and then we just missed chance after chance in the first half. I think we were 1-0 up. Big Ross scored a header to put us 1-0 up at half time. I've missed another one-on-one. Well, missed. The keeper's made a good save in my second one-on-one, and then created a few chances for a while that he's missed them. Second half comes right, we're gonna be all right here. We'll keep going. You know, just dead bizarrely out of nowhere, I battled with the centre half, he's kind of fallen over. And as I try to run away, he's pulled my shorts down. So I've lifted my shorts back up, kind of running. He's caught up, and then he's tried to slide me, and it was a bit like the Gabriel tackle on.
Yeah.
So he's kind of slid in and not even touched anything, nearly chopped me in half. And then as I took a touch to go past him, I realised I'm literally on top of the goalkeeper at a stupid angle. And then I've got nowhere else to go. Anyway, I just hit this shot right across the goal. It's hit the inside of the post and gone in.
Oh.
So not full blank. But then I did hit the post after that. We went 3-0 up, and then could have gone 7-0 up. We just absolutely tore this team apart. And then Steph gets a yellow card, which in our league means you've got 2 minutes in me.
Can you replace him though?
No, so you're down to 6 men for 2 minutes. They get one back straight off there. Then they get another one back, 3-2, and then it's a little bit like, what's going on here? Anyway, it finished 3-2, which could have been 7-0. So 3-2 really flattered them, but good result for us. Our other team that's in the same division as us lost to the under-18s 2-1. So it's going to be quite close in that aspect. But
so not a bad result against the American football team, though.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, there was no Vikings, no fridges. So
can you remember that skit they did on Soccer AM when it was actually Boston was in my hometown until he first got in the Football League?
I remember they doing a skit about Boston, and it was not. And then there's also
Bob Bradley, wasn't it?
There was also another one about Walsall, wasn't there? They used to do Walsall, but not in Russia.
Oh, in Poland, Warsaw. Yeah.
But no, the Walsall that's in the north of England.
Yeah.
So I remember they used to do. Yeah, they used to do.
And they did Boston. With the American accent commentary, so you beat the Chicago Bears.
We beat the Chicago Bears last night, so that puts us in a good position for the league and on the scoreboard, joint league goal scorer.
Good effort.
So
God, even though you're playing badly.
Honestly, but I think I literally got home and my back. This is from 3 weeks ago at Mira, I jarred my back, and I got home last night. I got out of the car, and I felt like I was about 60. Thankfully, Mr. Neil Watson today hooked me up a treat. Did a little bit of work on the old back. Feel like half a new man.
I think he must have been up through his old at some point, didn't he? There's so many different ones.
We'll just leave that comment there, I think. On that note, we'll go to IPL.
Yeah. In full swing. The Manchester Royals, my boys, aren't doing very well though. They've only won the once, and of course Ben Stokes told you about his finger. He's gone home.
Yeah, I think he's going to be out for a while.
Figure up 12 weeks, so that's not too good. The Royal Challengers Bangalore look decent this year. That's Kohli's mob. With Glenn Maxwell and De Villiers, they look like they're good. And Chennai Super Kings, which is Dhoni's team, they look strong again this year. With Moeen Ali and Sam Curran, 2 English players to the fore there as well, so pretty good.
All right, well, I met a new guy this week who is a big New Delhi fan.
So they're the Delhi Capitals.
Okay, and how good are they looking?
No, I don't think they've won yet this year.
Right.
But it's a long. The group phase is long. So is it 18s, 19s? I think they've played, 14, 16 games. So we're only to week 2, so you can soon turn it around. But yeah, Delhi are struggling a bit. That's who Ricky Ponting's the coach of.
Nice.
And Chris Wokes is there from England. Tom Curran from England as well. But yeah, so I don't know. I think. Could be the year of RCB.
You're getting plenty of viewing time in on the week then?
Yeah, 6 o'clock on the dot, bang, on it goes.
What time's the missus walking? Hopefully,
any time.
8 o'clock
after? 8 o'clock. Well, if it's mid-innings, I can't stop with watching mid-innings, can I? Or junior innings. So.
I bet she's loving life at the moment, isn't she?
Oh yeah, brilliant. I'm finishing work at 2 o'clock, doing what I want to do, watching the cricket at 6. She's still finishing at whatever time, and yeah.
About time she got a job anyway. Just dossering, she's like a student. Just sapping the life out of you, Jack. I'll back you up, mate. Yeah. And she definitely won't listen to this, so I'm
exactly. You're safe.
Yeah.
So that's good. I think the RCB are looking strong.
Okay. And restructure for the England Cricket Board?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it. So obviously, and it's probably about time, but they've got rid of the chairman selectors. Wow. So there's been a chairman selectors for as long as I can remember. It is currently still Ed Smith, former sort of pro player, broadcaster as well. And this week's announced in the restructure that role is going. The other selector, James Taylor, he's been able to become in chief scout or something like that rather than selector, and that the selection will rest solely with Chris Silver, the coach.
So just one person selected?
Yeah, I think obviously they'll have input from his coaches and those scouts, and then obviously the 2 captains, the red ball and the white ball. But I think the squad announcement, or the final squad pick, if you like, will be down to Silver, which for English cricket is a big move actually.
Well, is it not part time though? Because I can imagine if you've got a group of people sat on a table and you're trying to discuss to get down to a squad, there surely must be pinch points at that.
I would have thought so, yeah.
Where you've got to really go, right, I really want this person in, and they're going, well, it doesn't match the squad that we need here, we really need this type of player, and then them arguments could probably last days.
Yeah, and actually, I think the head coach has been part of that process for the last few years, certainly, so it's not like it used to be that he was just given, and I think it's still a bit like that in Australia, where the coach and the captain are just given the squad, which can't be right, can it? That's like Al Southgate being given the English without any say. It would never happen. So I think that's been going on for a while, but it's interesting because Edgeworth's not been everybody's cup of tea, because he's a bit of a suave man and thinks he's stylish and all stuff like that, and very, very well educated, so lots of his press conferences and press releases sort of mirror that kind of approach. So he's not everybody's cup of tea, but you can't argue they've been, particularly in the white ball, been very successful. I mean, they were the current World Cup winners and world number 1 in both white ball games. So he's obviously done something right. But so it'd be interesting. I think that finishes fairly soon to see how that starts. But it does make the coach and the captains, if you like, a lot more accountable for the sides the squads they're picking, and obviously the sides they're putting out on the field.
Yeah, right. Well,
interesting.
Yeah, we'll see how they get on the next set games, because they've got, what's the next game for England now?
It's a Test match series in May, I think, at home to New Zealand.
And then is it India pretty quick after that?
Yeah, India pretty quick. There'll be some white ball stuff pretty soon. Lots going on in cricket. See that the KH Championships into round 3 today. The new 100 ball competition. I think that was 100 days to the start of that in the last this week. So
Is that when they changed the name of certain items?
Unbelievable. We'll do that one week, yeah.
Okay.
Where wickets are no called, wickets are called outs.
Yeah, you can see just off that one mention, he bubbled. You're like a kettle, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you're part boiled. You just need that little flick and he's gone fully. Anyway,
part boiled and put it in the oven. Lovely.
Yeah.
Mashed
Okay.
potatoes like that.
Yeah.
Part boiled them.
Yeah, we'll leave you on there. We'll move on to football. Okay, so Arabian Gulf League, no fixtures at the moment within the league. Next fixture is due on the 3rd of May, which is a few weeks off. But interestingly, there is a Champions League for the Arabian Gulf teams. So at the moment, we have 3 representatives out there. We've got Sharjah FC, who are currently top of their group. Shabab Al Ahly, currently bottom of their group. Obviously a strong team holding everybody else up. And Al Wada, I don't know how Al Wada qualified and what the basis.
I'm assuming some sort of cup, I'm guessing, from last
year. Possibly, but because they cancelled last year, so it must have been the previous season. So Al Wada are doing okay, so like for like, but literally they just fire through these games every couple of days, bang, 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 everybody plays everybody. But dead bizarrely, some teams aren't entered, and I'm guessing it's due to the COVID restrictions, so the Australian teams aren't involved this year. So we wait with bated breath to see what happens next, because the group stages should be done later on this week, and we'll keep an eye out on that, and then see what happens with knockouts. But Sharjah going well for representatives for UAE, but Al Nasser from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia are always a strong team, so they're always ones to watch out for. So.
And I think Qatari sides are quite good on that. Al Sadd, I think somebody said they're going alright with Cazorla, Santi Cazorla, the ex-Arsenal fella there as well.
Yeah.
And of course, De Jong plays out in the Qatar League as well, doesn't he? Still.
Yes.
I don't know which team he plays for. So.
No, I just get the impression when you watch De Jong on BN, it's like I can't go. I've got to go and play a game now. It's like he's playing with his mates.
Yeah.
So like, Andy, I'm tapping out.
Or he comes in afterwards. Every bit he just sits down, gets his mic on, and he goes, "Yeah, we won 1-0."
Yeah,
it's almost like
it's almost like he underneath the desk he's got shin pads and socks on. But yeah, we'll have a look at that and we'll report back on that. Premier League, I think what we'll do, we'll go with the magic now. We'll go straight to Matty. So by the magic of the booth thumb, we are going to go over to Matty. Welcome, Matthew. Welcome to the show.
Cheers, lads.
Hi, Matthew. You look different without your mask on at work. There's something growing.
Oh, it's this bum fluff, innit? I need to get rid of it, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he's grown the beard to distract from the receding bald forehead that he's got going on there. What do you reckon, mate?
It was supposed to be skinhead and a beard, but I can't grow either on top of my head or on my chin. So
I can't grow a skinhead.
Yeah, and you grow a skinhead. Well, that would be a first.
You know what I mean? Anyway, it's not an ideal situation anyway.
No, it doesn't look it either. Right, well, let's move quickly on. So Liverpool Leeds. I watched the game, but I'll let you start and I'll chuck in as a
yeah. No, again, I think I picked a good game. It was entertaining. Game of 2 halves again. I think Liverpool obviously bossed the first half. Leeds came out second half, rocket up the backsides, and absolutely dominated the second half. Mane as well getting on the score sheet, which must be good for Liverpool fans. First goal in 10 games. And I think the equaliser obviously in the second half from Llorente, the great header, and well deserved. I think it was a very deserved draw. They both played for the draw, I think, and it was good to see that the Leeds manager was actually gutted at full time, and Klopp looked quite relieved. I don't know if you picked up on that. I don't know if they thought they could have gone on to win it. You know, Bamford hitting the bar. And I know Oxlade-Chamberlain had a good chance right at the end as well. But yeah, Leeds holding their own against these. Well, I know you'll probably get into it later, but the Super League teams, you know, beating City, drawing with Liverpool, getting that good top 10 finish that all the pundits have predicted. So
what was the
very good game.
Well, the original bet started, and we'll go back to Liverpool Leeds in a second. It originally said Leeds top 4. And I basically laughed him out of the office. And then it went from top 4 to top 6. And then when we decided that we were going to put a coffee on it, it went the top 10. So it dwindled the more something actually arose from the situation. But anyway, back to the Liverpool game. I think you're right. I think probably if that game probably had another 10 minutes left in it, Leeds would have fancied a chance to go on and win it. I think Liverpool, though, played really well first half. Maybe should have been out of sight, you know, and not give Leeds that opportunity to get back into the game. And I particularly think back to being 1-0 up at half time, deserved to 1-0 up. Jota's missed from that header. I think it's about the 48th minute, and he's missed from 3 or 4 yards right in the centre of the goal and put it over. And I'm just thinking that really then changed the whole complexion of the game. But I'll tell you what I wasn't really impressed with is the ability Leeds did. So Leeds played very much trying to play the ball out from the back first half. Short passes, 5-6 yards, short passes. Liverpool pinned in and pressed and won the ball back. Then what Leeds did really well was they kind of changed the shape slightly, but then they went diags. So they went diags for 20 yards. So rather than play the ball into a midfielder or into the wide man where Liverpool pressed in, they kind of missed Liverpool's first wave of press with this diag pass. And you've got to give credit to Leeds there, because the gaffer's obviously seen that and just gone, what we're doing is not working. And he's had a bit about him, made the change, and then you're completely right. Is that Leeds deserved the draw? Like I said, it's potentially on chances could have won it, because you Bamford race at the bar, which I don't think again Trent's covered himself in glory. And then I look at Tyler Roberts, where he's turned inside Liverpool. Is it Harrison as well, where the keeper's made a great save? And there's about 3 or 4 really good opportunities there. I think on another day should have scored. I was just going to say, I think Liverpool keepers kept him in it with a couple of really good saves. I think Bamford overhit it and hit the bike. He really could have scored that. It did probably go down as a missed chance, a great chance, but probably should have scored in that position. But yeah, just picking up on what you said about the diags, I think it was, are they targeting Trent, in the second half, going, look, there's the weak link defensively, playing out from the back's not working, they've got us sussed, let's target those players. But I was just going to mention one more thing, the goal that obviously Leeds scored, coming from a corner, for a team like Liverpool to concede a set piece there, Van Dijk's playing, it doesn't happen, I think. And again, I think that's the story of the season, isn't it? A lot of the things that have happened to Liverpool, all those games lost, all those games that win, that one key player's missing, it doesn't really happen. And what a way to concede that, pretty much, was it 87th minute, I think? Yeah. To concede a header like that is not great for Liverpool, really. Yeah, and I think back to, obviously, he's rotated Phillips out, and Phillips is just an out-and-out header of the ball. It's just like, he has been brought up just to love to win headers, and he would have relished the opportunity. And I think Llorente, when I look back at that game, was ropey, as loved a little Cruyff turn, and did Mane 2 or 3 times, but then also got caught a few times. So, yeah, reflection, probably a draw was a good result. And I actually said to Jack, beginning of the week was, a draw for Liverpool isn't the worst scenario, with the fact that I think other than Manchester United, well, Man United roll over anyway, that's 3 points in the bag, but other than United, Liverpool's running is relatively straightforward now. So that top 4 place beckons. So
yeah, for Liverpool.
Liverpool. Let's go with, we always ask you about Liverpool when they're going to finish. What about your Leeds hat? Are you still going top 4, top 6, top 10?
I think they'll easily make top 10, yeah. It's such a, other than the top spot, it's such a good league this year, with the bottom 3 and that middle section. I know they're not really playing for anything other than the bit of extra money they get for each place. The top 6, 8, even, probably say to 7th or 8th place now. They're all in with a shout, but Leeds will definitely come top 10. I think, West Ham are playing against Chelsea this weekend, which is the game I'm going to watch. If they get a draw, Liverpool, Tottenham, it opens up, well, not Tottenham, but, it does open up for Liverpool.
Because you don't know that? Tottenham
because, well, not for long. But yeah, Liverpool can well within a shout. And yeah, Liverpool got Newcastle, which I think I said to you, Stu, back in the season, it would have been an easy 3 points for Liverpool, wouldn't it? But Newcastle, they need it, although they're probably safe, they could do with being, finishing the season on a high, really. And I think the manager there needs a good few results probably to keep his job. So that'll be an interesting game. But yeah, West Ham Chelsea is the one I'm going to watch this week.
Excellent. Good stuff. Any important appointments this week?
Yeah, I'm walking to, we'll call it the library, and they'll say I'm going to have a few milkshakes. Yeah.
In the yard?
But that's not till later, so.
I believe we've got a new fan. I believe she watches every week and loves to watch old Matthew on television. I think she prefers it when we throw him on the spot and ask him certain things and really put him in the spotlight. So Matthew, So when are we having the next wedding party, or are we doing anything romantic for the missus this week? Because you've got to be taking her out and treating her, because you are definitely punching, aren't you, mate?
I'm massively punching, yeah. She'll be watching this now, laughing her head off. But yeah, we're going. I'll take her out tomorrow. Yeah, why not? I'll take her out tomorrow. I'll treat her.
Well, on that note, Matthew, we're not going to spoil any surprises. You enjoy yourself. Have a great time, and we'll catch you soon. Bye.
Cheers, lads. Bye-bye.
And welcome back, everybody. Matthew loves
Jacob for what weekend.
She's such a lucky girl. But yeah, he loves. I love catching him. Just every week we should find out. We'll get Jade to just drop us a little bit of nuggets of information, and we'll just put him on the spot and see how he reacts. Because if nothing else, Jade will just love the fact that he's on the spot.
Yeah, definitely. He doesn't know what. Just gets all flustered, doesn't he?
Yeah. So Jade drops a message. If you drop us one about Tuesday, Wednesday, sets us up nicely, and it's always good for a bit of a giggle to put Matty on the spot.
But he's. Where do you think Leeds go from here for next year? Because I think that. I actually think they're playing. They've been more impressive with him as the season's gone on than at the beginning, personally. A little bit like, didn't watch the game Monday night, but I've obviously changed tactics. Whereas I thought early on in the season, when everybody was raving about them, it's just like, oh, they're just attacking and actually don't care. Yeah. And they're kind of playing like basketball, aren't they? Man-to-man marking. I think they've probably got better. I don't know what you think, but where do they go from here? Because clearly to get up the league, they need to spend some money, but do they have the money? Where do they go? Who's going to go and play at Leeds United? Yeah, I think for them, 10th place would be a great finish this year. I think they need a striker. I think Bamford has done well in fits and starts, but he's not. I wouldn't say he's going to be a 20-goal a season Premiership man. He hit the ground running well here because I think people were underestimating him. Yeah. And now I think people are paying a bit more attention to him. He struggles a little bit and drifts in and out of games. So I think for them, they need to go and buy a striker. Where you go and get a 20-goal man striker from nowadays without paying an absolute fortune, I don't know. But it'll be interesting. Yeah, they play some nice football. They've got some decent players in there. I think the short centre backs as well. Yeah. I like Little Phillips in the middle of the park. He loves to spray, but I'm not quite sure he's England standard. No way, English standard.
So I think they've got one and two really good players. They bought Rodrigo, the Spanish lad, but not really. I know he's injured at the moment, but not really got into the team. Rafinha's shown bits again, a little bit Bamford. I was interested because I was watched it. Harrison's a decent player, but he's never going to get anywhere near City's first team. So he wouldn't be a bad starting point to go and get something like that.
For me, they've got a lot of, as a lot of sides have, I think, when you look around. And Man United struggle with it a little bit. I think Spurs are still in there at the moment with doing it. Lots of, like the periphery sides, West Ham, Leicester, got a lot of similar type players, and I don't think anyone's better than anyone else. A little bit like England, in the 2018 World Cup, but even now you would say, when you look at those sort of forward-minded midfield players, number 10, when you look at England level, Maddison, and if they're all playing Dele, Lingard and all that, who is better? And I think Leeds have got a lot of players like that, all the ones you mentioned. No one's really come out and gone, that's my starting spot on the left-hand side or in the middle or whatever.
Well, Klitsch was the starter at the beginning of the season, the Polish lad, and I really like the look of him. But then he's been benched and he only comes on for a bit parts. But I think for Leeds, a bit of investment. I think they've got a high-quality coach there. Especially from what I saw in the game last week, he's not scared of changing things, and he's tactically on the pulse. He's not waiting for things to eventually go wrong and then change the game after. He's not scared of just going, this needs to be changed now. But interesting. So we'll see. I think Leeds really need to aim to be like a little bit of Everton next year and be pushing towards top 8. Yeah. Top 8, and then hopefully have a good cup run, and then maybe the season after start building. But obviously, if you're coming into a Premiership, you're talking 6-7 year project in order to get anywhere near the top 6.
Yeah, and they've got the reputation where they could, if they've got a little bit of money and they get the right, they're not going to have loads, but if they suddenly pick up somebody half decent for 25-30 million, that can take them to the net and just do that. They've got the reputation as a good club to do that.
They've got a stupid fan base, as in not as in the fans are stupid, but like a large fan base, even though they're all crazies, because I've got a fair few friends from back home are Leeds fans. And they're just nutcases at the best of times. But the fan base, when the fans are back in, they will pack Ellenwood out week in, week out. So you think about that aspect, you want to go Leeds as a club, you then want to be start to increase the stadium capacity. I know it's a big layout, but if you can start getting 60 odd thousand in every week, and they would fill it easily twice over, then you're talking about more money coming into the club and becoming a bigger club. But I think in remix you've got to look at next steps. So it's to try and be an Everton or a West Ham to be in that next cluster of teams.
Yeah.
And then from there, have a good season, and then you're looking at trying to be a Leicester City.
Yeah, I mean,
and then you're trying to broach into the.
Yeah, I think that there'll be, if you sat down with them, and Leeds fans probably won't like me for saying this, I would say if you sat down with the chairman, the owner, however it works there, and be able to, they have overachieved, because I'm pretty sure that they've taken finishing 17th.
Oh yeah. Well, I wouldn't have said 17th, but I think
survival has got to be the thing, and then build up.
Yeah.
And they've got the building blocks, unlike Sheffield United or Fulham to their other sides that, the yo-yo sides over the years, because of what you said, the fan base. So I think they've always got that extra bit. And the fact of the matter is they've probably overachieved where they thought they'd be. So, see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Right, okay, so we'll go through the other fixtures. So these fixtures span from Friday night, and then the last game for this game week is tonight.
Tonight, we're recording Thursday, aren't we?
Yeah, so Friday, Everton 2, Spurs 2, which I think we both said beforehand, if one won and one lost, then that kind of ruled them out.
Yeah.
Draw's not been the worst case. I haven't seen the results later on in the week.
Yeah, there was at the time, but they're just poor again. I didn't watch it live, I did watch the highlights. And to be quite honest with you, if Everton had gifted, why on earth they think it's clever to give Harry Kane the whole of the penalty box and then passing the ball basically on 2 occasions, beyond me. But clinical finishes. But Spurs, I think, were lucky to get a point there, to be honest. And like I said, the results in the week, and then us winning last night, which we'll talk about a bit more later, is it turns out not to be the most disastrous result.
Yeah, definitely. I think a loss there would have been much more hurtful, because that would have kept, or if Everton
would have gone above us. Yeah.
Newcastle beating West Ham, which Newcastle dead bizarrely are that type of team, aren't they?
Yeah.
And West Ham are also that type of team where they'll go and get a great result against Leicester and then fall flat on the face against Newcastle. So that secured Newcastle's Premiership life status for the season. Wolves beat Sheffield United, which officially relegated them. Arsenal again.
What a poor game.
Yeah, just stumbling again when they just seem to put a good performance in, and you're thinking that maybe they're going to come to.
There's something clearly inherently wrong at that football club, isn't there?
I think it's mental attitude, because how you can go and get good results against good teams and play really well, and then you come up against a Fulham and you draw, but then you can go into Europe and then absolutely destroy Slavia Prague, and then put yourself in a really good position for there. So there's definitely a mental capacity within the players.
I'm not sure Arteta is as safe as all the people think either.
No, I think they'll see this season out, and I think they'll reassess. United with a comfortable win against Burnley, 3-1. As mentioned, Leeds Liverpool 1-1. Chelsea then drew 0-0 with Brighton,
which is a wonderful result for us.
Which is a great result for us. Spurs picked up their result 2-1, scraped it through against Southampton.
Yeah, poor. First half absolutely dreadful. They looked like a side that lost the manager and got.
Ryan Mason, is it?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, shall we?
All right, we'll talk about Ryan Mason in a second, but we'll go through what you need to speak to. But I just thought, still no Dele Alli, still on the bench.
Yeah, strange. I never got on.
So, for my thought processes, there is something we're not seeing here.
Potentially,
to bring in a brand new coach, even though he's been working with a different age group, and still not get on the pitch.
Strange.
Makes for slightly worrying.
I was sat there thinking exactly the same last night. Strange. His substitutes were strange though, full stop.
Yeah, but that's a new guy coming in and trying things out. Yeah. But we'll have a chat about Mourinho and Spurs in a second. And Villa lost to City 2-1. Phil Foden had an absolute stormer. He scored a really good goal, took it really well. And it was interesting because they were talking about Phil Foden, about this new protege. Well, we knew it was this new England next week. But currently on form, I'd have him in front of Sterling.
Yeah, I would. And actually, Pep stitches everybody's fantasy teams up, doesn't he? He has done the last 4 weeks. On whatever year. I am still very. I know he's young, and I know they play a lot of football. I get all that, but I'm still very surprised that he keeps saying all this. And last year he said when David Silva went, I don't need to replace him because I've got Phil. I don't think he plays enough. If I was Phil Foden or I was a Man City fan, I'll be really frustrated the fact that he doesn't play enough.
But do you not think though that part of the development is not to throw him in the limelight too much? I was thinking about this today actually. Was that Phil Foden has spent probably a year where he could have gone on loan last season with the club and got some game, but he's staying around the place. He's staying around the likes of David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Raheem Sterling was on fire last year. Even Sane before he left.
Yeah.
So he's picking up nuggets of information that he necessarily wouldn't have got if he'd gone to a Championship team or a Division 1 team. And now he's starting to get a little bit more game time, a little bit more exposure. Is he not the better player because of that?
No, I think that definitely about him not going out alone. That's clearly why he's not sending him out alone, because there must have been offers from Premier League clubs as well as Championship clubs. So 100% there. And look, you probably, who am I to question Pep at the end of the day? But I'm just saying that even from an England fan, the perspective, because I think he looks great. People talk about Jack Grealish and Cerner. If you said to me, who would you play in that 10-year-old behind Kane, whatever, Phil Foden for me every day of the week.
I think at the moment he's definitely played his way.
Because I just think, we talk about Gaza, and I get where the Gaza connection comes on with Grealish when he's playing his best. Incidentally, he needs to get fit before he gets anywhere near an England squad.
Yeah, he's
struggling to. I think Foden's got that a little bit as well, but I think just because he's left foot and a bit small and a bit slight, he's got that magic, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's not got the like that pace that Sterling has to get in and beyond.
No.
But Foden has that acceleration, not quite as fast as Sterling, but has that ability to drop a shoulder and go that players aren't quick enough to catch him. And then it's that point he's then making the right decisions. I think he's an exciting talent, and we just hope that he keeps blossoming, and then we'll see where he is in a couple of years. I just hope he's not another one that just that starters. Like Ross Barkley was that type of player a couple of years ago. Loftus-Cheek was another one that was not the same, but very similar ilk, but never quite.
But do you not think that's Chelsea's ruin there?
Possibly. Well, I think they did that with Joe Cole, but that was just Mourinho.
Yeah.
But anyway, last game of the fixtures tonight is Leicester versus West Brom. We'll talk about that in fantasy football terms in a second. And then, interestingly, just a quick pick out some of the fixtures this week. Arsenal-Everton, that's a decent fixture, potentially on paper, but I could see that being a crappy
1-1.
0-0 game. Liverpool-Newcastle, I think if Liverpool are starting to create these chances now, somebody's going to get hired in soon. And if Liverpool, what he's done is now he's rotating the top front four. So if they're not scoring, they're not staying in. So that'd be interesting. And Salah will want to try and push Kane. So I can imagine that he'll want to try and get a bag full against Newcastle. So that'll either be 1-0 or 5-0.
Up the two, I say.
Yeah. The biggest one is the one that Matt's going to cover, West Ham Chelsea, especially for us guys.
Point would do.
Point would be ideal for all of us. Sheffield United Brighton, which is a game you ain't saying.
But Brighton need to go and win, don't they, there, to secure their side. I think they're fine. I think the bottom three at the minute will stay as the bottom three.
I think it depends what happens tonight. If West Brom win against Leicester, then I think it makes it a little bit exciting. But I think Brighton, Newcastle, Burnley are all safe.
But I think Brighton need a win there.
Brighton would just puts them in that nice. And what you're doing now is you're playing into next season. That's what you need to start thinking about. Wolves, Burnley again. Could be a decent game, but not really anything that's standing out to anybody. Leeds, Man United. I'm surprised Matt did not pick that game actually, which will be interesting because it is at Ellen Road. Villa, West Brom. West Brom need results left, right, and centre. So I think that'll be a strong one. Yeah, it's like a Brummy derby.
West Midlands derby.
Yeah, and then Leicester, Crystal Palace sees off their fixtures, but. Yeah, on a whole.
And of course, the big one on Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening for us.
Yes, Man City to whitewash Spurs.
Yeah, probably.
That's always a risk, isn't it? Depends. I think he's left getting out in order to keep him fit.
Yeah, I think he's fit. Yeah. And that's the only thing about his substitutions. Like, I can't see that how he's going to play Delhi, who's not played any football in a final when.
He doesn't. He can't play. Surely can't. He's not had any minutes in the legs, so unless he's getting game time behind closed doors, but that's still not the same as playing a real life match. But let's go on to it. You're reaching to talk about it. You finally got what you wanted. Probably not the way around anybody thought it would have happened, because if anything, he's come out with a little bit of credit on this.
Well, 100%. I mean, I've said to you, I would have sacked him after the Arsenal game. I said that was enough, and I know they went on and then lost in the Europe. That can happen, and that we all know that. Look, M was PSV of Ajax, so it felt when we did them in the Champions. So that can happen, but that inept performance against Arsenal, where it was just, I would have gone there. Everybody knows that, and then brought in whoever for that final 2 months of the season. I find it really bizarre that he did it this week. I'll tell you why he did it this week. I'll tell you why he did it on the day, because obviously the Super League announcement was so Levy decided to sack him to try and detract any news that way. I'm pretty sure of that. There is a rumour going around, isn't there, still, that the final nail in the coffin was that Mourinho refused to take the players out on the training pitch because of the ESL. I don't know if that's true.
Do you think, and I'm going to throw this out for conspiracy theories, do you think Levy said, you're going, and in order to ease tensions, and because Levy's come out and said nothing but praise since he's left, that Mourinho, what I want you to do in the morning is not take the players out. You're getting sacked anyway. At least this way you get a little bit of credit. Because then they've gone, okay, no worries. You're not going out today, lads, but Levy's going, you can't do that, you're out.
Yeah, I mean, if it's happened, nothing would surprise me in any, not just Tottenham, anything. Like, obviously they knew that news was going to come out, try and detract it. But whether that's the case or not, I still, if I'd kept with him this long, would I have sacked him this week? Probably not. Because I think, and look, there's nothing against Ryan Mason, and by all accounts, I've said this for a long while actually, that apparently he's really highly rated as a coach within, he's obviously developed, he's 29 years old.
Yeah.
To then sack Mourinho, fair enough, and try and get a reaction, okay, fine. And ultimately, they won last night, albeit they were poor first half and slightly better second half. Completely missed Harry Kane. More so than I've ever known Spurs with when Kane's been around. Bizarre substitutions again. Brings on Lamella, Winks, and Bergwijn.
I was going to say that's a while since Winks has
been
played, isn't it?
Yeah, played. Lo Celso was absolutely awful. Should have come off at half time. Saving Lamella. Didn't play Vinicius as the striker. Played Lucas Moura as the striker. So some bizarre things still, but you can't be too critical. Obviously, like we say, we don't know how people are training. We don't know whether they're carrying injuries or they're carrying not. Whatever. We won 2-1, so it's probably had the initial effect, but I think he's been given a really tough gig as a 20-year-old. They were saying last night that in Ryan Mason's last game for Spurs, 7 of the team who played last night were in the team as well. So I think it's tough. I think long term, I think it's the right decision, and of course it'll prove a masterstroke if for some bizarre reason we get into the top 4. Because everybody talks about 4th place, but you've been saying it for a while. It's not just 4th. 3rd and 4th are all for grabs, and you just never know. You talk about Liverpool's running, Spurs' running is quite favourable actually. So if they go and win 5 games now, they'll probably finish 3rd or 4th, won't they? On the thought, as would Liverpool, as would anybody else in that mix. So I think it was the right decision. Would I have done it this week? Probably not, because I think Mourinho would have fancied winning at Wembley, wouldn't he?
Mourinho has that habit, doesn't he, of being able to.
It'd have been boring to watch.
Winning cup finals.
Yeah. Would I have got Mason in? No, I would have hoped that he's asked Ledley King to take it on to begin with, but I don't think Ledley King's that kind of guy. He's very quiet, isn't he? Quietly spoken. I would have probably had a look at, see if Harry would come for that 4 or 5 weeks. Get the old boys back.
Oh my God! I was going to say you'll have them all back in the squad.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Just as maybe not as manager, just there as a seat. I just think it's a tough gig for him.
Well, 2 things from me. Mourinho, have you seen how much money he's made from sackings?
Unbelievable.
93 million.
What's a legend?
Sackings. The guy has got contracts tied up to a T.
Yeah.
Gets himself, and this is what I can't understand is why a club like Tottenham know that he averages 2 years, give him such a long contract with such a sacking clause in there. So you just spunked out another 20 million.
30, I think it's cost us.
30 million to sack him, which is obviously weighs heavy, especially at this current time.
There goes the centre half.
There you go. You get rid of a couple of players this year, and then you're going, okay, we can invest in this. Which is nice if we had that extra 30. Yeah. So you look at that. So that's a big one. Second one, in your favour, is De Bruyne being out.
Yes.
He is such a miss.
And John Stones.
Yeah,
because he got sent off last night.
But that one can't for the cup.
I'm sure I read that. I think it's all
I thought it was just for the.
Oh, I don't know then.
Because it used to be X amount of games, but then with it being a separate cup competition.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure I read this morning he was there for Sunday, but I might go.
All right, okay.
But
Well,
yeah,
well,
De Bruyne is the big one.
Yeah, De Bruyne, and that was just a silly rolled ankle in what
Yeah.
can only be described as one of the worst games of football I'd ever watched. City Chelsea in the FA Cup last week.
No, I didn't watch it.
He
I
didn't
watched
miss
bits,
anything.
but I didn't watch it.
He was
Yeah.
but yeah, so you finally got what you wanted, and now he's kind of retracted those statements.
No.
He didn't want it. He wanted it later.
Yeah.
But
I should have wanted it earlier.
obviously, Daniel tried to ring you, but obviously you weren't answering because you
Well,
were
I don't
working.
know, our colleague at school, Paul Walker, reckons he's going to apply for the job.
Oh, you reckon he has done?
Yeah.
He says he has done. He
Yeah.
said he found a HR web address.
Because apparently he'd heard that if you apply for a job at any football club, they always reply back. So he wants that. Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, he's got it. He has applied. He told me, but yeah. So we'll see.
You
what
never
happens
know.
next.
I'm looking forward to Sunday because senior team in the cup final is class, isn't it? But
Yeah.
at the same time, if we play like we did first half last night, we will be about 5-0 down.
There's no fans, is there?
Yes, there are.
Are they allowing
There's
some
yeah,
fans
there
in?
are, and some. I think Spurs and City got 2,000 tickets each. I think something like that.
That's good. That's good. It's slowly
So
creeping
it's
back.
getting back there, and the actual proper proper fans of actually the actual teams, because last week in the semi,
It was just anybody in London.
there was a few Southampton and Worcestershire that sneaked in the crowd, didn't
I
they?
can imagine. Right, next one on ours was ESL, but we're going to leave that for the talking section. But we're going to have a little look at boxing and our mate Callum Johnson.
Yeah, so let me I want to get these facts right. So Callum Johnson is from my hometown of Boston, 35-year-old, light heavyweight, hasn't fought for, and this is what I want to check because I don't want to get it wrong, hasn't fought for 2 years since he lost in America in a world title fight as the British champion at that point. Former Commonwealth gold medalist for Scotland, actually. Actually was a former student of the school that I taught at before I came at Haven High, although he just left before I started because I think he went on a boxing scholarship or whatever. But yeah, he makes his return to the ring under Frank Warren on Saturday at the O2, so looking forward to it. I've seen some picture of social media. He left Boston earlier in the week. Had a picture. His dad sadly died 4 years ago. He was his big influence. Had his customary picture against his dad's graveside, and obviously had a chat to him. So Callum, the one, Johnson, we wish you all the best, mate.
Yeah, good luck. And
hopefully he win. I'm pretty confident he'll win playing. He's boxing Emil Markic, Ukrainian or Croatian actually, sorry. And hopefully he wins and gets his way back up to a world title fight, which I think is obviously his aim again.
yeah, and at such a late age as well, 35 to go back
Yeah.
up to. So every credit to you, and hopefully maybe get him out at some point.
Yeah, that's the plan. So, my brother sort of knows him better than me, to be fair. And Tom had been talking to him, and he was going to come on, but obviously he was in camp then, so we've not pressed that. Obviously,
So,
he's got a bigger thing. Although we're quite big,
Yeah,
we are quite big. We know that worldwide.
I can imagine. In
Um,
my spare room.
he's with a nice green duvet.
Paul said she'll watch this now. She'll watch you. Why don't you change the camera angle? I can hear it now already.
But yeah, so he's obviously prepared for this fight. So hopefully, I'm pretty confident he'll win, and then hopefully we'll get him on and he can talk us through that, what his plans are, and also, how a man from Boston becomes a Commonwealth champion for Scotland and a professional boxer.
Yeah, so good luck, Callum. Is it Saturday?
Saturday
evening,
yeah.
So back home, I'm no doubt you probably see it on the TV back
Yeah.
home, and we'll see if we can scan around the channels
I'm
out
sure
here.
we
see
can
if we
find it
it.
somewhere.
Yeah. Right. So talking point. We'll get on with it. European Super League. Okay.
Wow.
The news dropped. It was dead bizarre because this news dropped. 48 hours later, it's all over with.
Yeah.
So it was.
As I predicted, actually, I will say this.
Okay. Right. So let's go with. I was going to say it's probably lasted longer than most of Neil Watson's love life relationships. But yeah, 48 hours. European Super League. Top six English clubs, which is debatable at the best of times, which is a completely different story we're going with. But European Super League, from what I understood from the little information that was out there, was that they would continue playing the Premiership, and basically the European Super League would be replacing the Champions League in 2 league format.
I think that was the idea because they needed more people, didn't they?
Yeah, and it was going to be based upon like an American franchise. Nobody gets relegated, nobody gets promoted, and then you just have a playoff, and then you end up with World Series champions.
Yeah, the World Series champions in Europe.
Yeah. So, what was your thought process going through this?
Ridiculous. I mean, I think that was the plan. Obviously, it scuppered and rightly so because the UEFA, FIFA, and Premier League said if that happens, you're not playing anywhere else, and the bans for players, etc. And we all know now that what's happened, that English clubs have pulled out, fans have protested, and rightly so for me. I'm going to say now, I'm not totally against I think the Champions League isn't right, because I think it should only be the champions. And obviously, the European Cup back in the day was just the league winners, and I think that idea of the very, very best playing against each other in whatever format, I think it has some legs, and I think that's where the Champions League has to go to. I know they're reforming, which is not like that, or another competition above the Champions League.
The new proposal is to introduce more teams, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, and like more of a league system and blah blah blah. But but I understand that revenue and stuff like that. So you've got to have more games, because obviously if it's just champions of the leagues, there's not many, and the champions of Ukraine, they're not going to come and pull loads of money in, like the champions of England or whatever. But the way they did it and the way they wanted to do it, I know the American system works in America, and it always will. And just as our system wouldn't work there, because it's too big a country to have that promotion relegation thing, isn't it, all the time? Not for me. I think the right result happened. I think that a lot of the owners and the CEOs, as we're seeing now, as the story unfolds, are going to find it very difficult to stay at the clubs. I mean, obviously, CEOs are easily dispensable.
Gone, hasn't it?
Yeah. Owners a little bit different, because what they're only going to do is walk away and give it. They're going to be there for a pound.
Yeah, Mike Ashley will be all over it.
Yeah.
They have 6 clubs.
Big bugs and everything.
Yeah.
So, that's not going to be as easy, but I think they've really, really, the fans and football as a whole will be really, really wary of the big 6 in inverted commas for a long while to come, because they'll always say that what you concocted. And I must say, and we haven't deliberately spoken about this actually, we're at work.
Yeah.
Other people like Ronell came to see me, Paul Walker, and I did say I didn't think it would happen, that it was a big game of poker for these 12 clubs or however many there were to get more money out of the Champions League, and I will stand by that, albeit I think it was probably a bit further down the line than what I probably realised. So not for me. I think the right decisions come to it in the end, and I think that those big 6 clubs have got a lot of making up to do to their own fans, to football fans in general, and also to their managers and coaches and players, because they've not fronted up. I know that since some of them, like your owner Henry has, but poor old Ryan Mason's first press conference as 20-year-old, all he getting was battered, and even last night about the Super League. And to be fair to him, he just kept saying he was clearly lying. I don't know what you're talking about. I've not had a chance to look at it. I don't know all the facts. There should be the owners and the CEOs fronting up for that. So they've got a lot of making up to do for me.
Yeah. Right. So we'll start off with, I think that the plug's been pulled too early. I would have loved to have seen how the format was going to work. I believe that, from my personal point of view, FIFA, UEFA, Premiership banning players is absolutely ridiculous based upon something that the owners were going to do. We're employees of a company. If our company decides to go in a different direction, we don't have that choice.
No.
We're just told to go and do our job slightly different. So to ban the players is ridiculous, and it'll cause them more aggro in the long run. If this was to replace the Champions League, that's their choice. I don't know why the Premiership are getting all het up about it. Why are they suddenly getting angry about it? Because week in, week out, you still have United there, you still have City there, you still have Liverpool there. They're all playing. European Super League, to have the elite clubs in one division, I think is a great idea. I can't see how it goes wrong, and I can't understand why the fans are so angry about it. I just generally don't get is you've got these group of fans, and I think what's happened is it's a bit like tumbleweed or a snowball effect. If somebody's got, this is disgrace, they're not going to play in the Premiership, and no point did anybody say Liverpool, City, United are pulling out of the Premiership. And then suddenly it's just gone, suddenly just snowballed, and then suddenly everyone's going, they're absolutely shocking, they're going to ruin football. Hold it, 20 years ago when this formed the Premiership, we didn't have social media, people kicked off when we reformatted that, saying it's all about elitism and clubs are going to earn so much more money. But yeah, look how that's benefited football and how much better that along is. And for people, and this is Matt, I had a chat with Matt. Matt's going, no, it's not right. It's rubbish if you see Liverpool play Real Madrid every week or play Barcelona. I was like, that's funny, because when we ask you to pick a match, you always pick the most entertaining game. So what is wrong with Liverpool playing Real Madrid? What is wrong with Barcelona playing Paris Saint-Germain? They're entertaining games. Who wants to stay up till stupid o'clock in the morning watching Liverpool versus Ludogorets or Tottenham Hotspurs versus Mingin?
We're careful.
Wherever they are. But nobody wants to see that, you know, and all people want to watch is the elite level teams. I don't think UEFA and FIFA could have done a ban because sport of arbitration would have gone, no chance, these guys are playing, they've done nothing wrong, because it's down to the owners of the club. And nobody called for United to collapse and disperse because they didn't play in the FA Cup one season. Yeah, they're worried, FIFA and UEFA are worried about the fact that these clubs are going to make more money. And I suppose the fans outside that top 6 bracket are also worried that they're going to become a super club where they're going to be able to buy all the best players, and then the leagues are going to become a little bit non-competitive. And I get that aspect. You know, I get that from a fan viewpoint of view, from teams outside the top 6. There's fans in the top 6. What are you whinging about? I just generally don't get it. And I'd like to see, and I think when you talk about Ryan Mason there saying about he can't answer it if he doesn't know the facts, he's probably right. Is that we're speculating how it's going to look. We're speculating what it's going to look like and how it's going to do. Yeah, potentially they have played a game of poker to try and ask a little bit of money out of UEFA. No issue with that. But let's get down to the cutthroat of it all. If it's a European Super League, regardless of, I wouldn't agree with the fact that you can't be relegated. I think there's got to be opportunities for other teams to get into that group of teams. So maybe you do say the worst ranked team of that country does come out. And then the next best ranked team in the league then goes into that group. That would be something I'd be for, because I'm not a big fan of the franchise situation. I don't think it promotes good competition. And I think what would happen is if we had that in the European Super League, is how do you then put financial fair play into that aspect, and then that is obviously then going to have a negative impact on the league because these teams are going to, you imagine that Liverpool suddenly have got all this money and they've got Mbappe up front and they've got this world-class team going through the middle and suddenly games against Southampton become 6-7 to Liverpool because they've just got the elite level players. But I would have loved to have seen these plans in action to see where it is. And like you're saying is, let's not rule this out completely. I think with a little bit more thought process and a little bit more structure, something like this could work. And you're going to tell me, as a Spurs fan, you wouldn't rather see you playing against the elite level clubs around Europe every week rather than Slavia Prague and Dynamo Kiev?
There is a lot to that, of course, to it, 100%. I just don't. I think for me, it's the way it was done and the close shop and the inviting it and the snidiness about it and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, I think potentially, and let's not call it European Super League, something above the Champions League or a reformed Champions League looking like that, it probably has some legs. But I think the way it was done, interestingly, the Paris Saint-Germain weren't interested in it. They said that probably shows they've got stupid amounts of money, and the German clubs obviously were interested in it. They said and that will be largely to do with the way that they are governed and controlled by. Lots of the fans own those clubs, don't they? And they're regulated by the government, which I think is perhaps what eventually needs to come in English football, or to try and regulate these owners to not make these snap decisions, whatever they are. I don't know. We'll wait and see. Obviously, Stu's played a good role as devil's advocate there.
I just think that there was a major overreaction from fans and then some celebrities, and then people just jumped on the bandwagon without even understanding the full concept. I would have loved to see it on a piece of paper shown to me and said, "This is how it works. This is how it's going to impact the Premiership. This is how it's going to." But from my understanding, it's just going to replace Champions League with the best teams in Europe. So that would have been interesting.
It was certainly the Premier League who suddenly said, "You go there, you're not playing in this league." I don't think the clubs, from my understanding, the club's idea was to play in both, but it's the Premier League who said.
I think the interesting aspect of that of all this is who classifies what as a top 6 club, and I think that's where a lot of people got upset, because you'd argue that Premiership performances in the last couple of seasons potentially doesn't put Arsenal in that bracket of top 6. Spurs on the edge of it.
Yeah.
You're only really going to say that Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, Man United have been in that cluster of the top 4. There's only really City and Liverpool that could argue, say, there's definitely us two are there. The rest of you are fine amongst, because Leicester will sit there and go, well, why are we not including this? And they're kind of in that fold of top 4. And you look back to somebody where, well, they've won the same amount of Premiership titles as Liverpool have, and you're correct. They've won more than Spurs.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see it all. But maybe it was just a big game of poker to get money about.
I think so.
Maybe there's an element of 3 of the clubs that are involved in this have American owners and wanted to build a World Series championship like that happens in America. So we wait and see, but it'd be interesting to get other people's viewpoints from home.
Yeah, I think you're going to be in a firing line here, I think, with that opinion.
I'm happy
He's
to
ready
receive.
for you,
I'm
people.
happy to receive.
He is ready for
But
you.
I just think that this snowball effect happened too quick, and I would have loved to see it. But fantasy football, nothing really much interesting happening on fantasy football, other than we're going to have Larkin in a second. There is one last game tonight, which will determine the outcomes for all the cup matches. So I'm looking for Iniacho to bag 4 for Leicester City, Jamie Vardy to get sent off and potentially cause some other disruption, which will get him on minus points. Or maybe just Cameron Knotts just pulls out of the competition completely to get me through.
I think your chance of appearing in the European Super League's gone, mate.
Yeah, but let's have a listen to what Larkin's got to say.
Hello. Old Larko back with the Football Fantasy Jam. Okay, it's been a big week in football. I suppose, boys, you have been talking about the Super League. I discussed today what would happen if we got rid of the top 6 in the Sporting Jibberish League. I also answer Paul from Reading your question regarding the issue you had with HR and approaching someone in the bathroom about the fantasy team, and also just a few friendly reminders about this week. So, first one, let's start with you, Paul. Paul from Reading wrote to me during the week. He's a legal PA. Said he recently got himself in a little bit of trouble, banging on the door when someone was trying to fix their fantasy team. That someone was actually the head of HR, who was top of the league with his team. I think he called them Hakuna Matata, and he got in a little bit of bother. So, Paul, unfortunately, I did mention it, but if you approach the higher echelons of your company with that sort of behaviour, I expect that would be the case. You've got to be a little bit more clever now. So the tip I'll give you is it stealing if you pick someone's phone up that is left on their desk and hand it straight into us property on the day they've got to set the teams? I don't know. That's my question to you, Paul. You're going to have to answer that one yourself, okay? So maybe a little tip for you, something for you to think about over the weekend. Let's just try that, okay? So pick the phone up, drop it to us property, say, found, I don't know whose it is, okay? Ideally a couple of hours before the Friday deadline. Okay, you'll be on to a winner there. Right, the Super League. So, obviously, disgraceful, everyone's up in arms, and I'm looking a bit close to home here, and I'm seeing our big 6 in our league. And there's been a few murmurings from them. My suggestion, Stu, Boovy, I just think we boot them, to be fair. A lot of them have ended late. Glory Hunters, as I would call them. Blue Army, Show Me the Mane, Dad got 86. Is that your team, Muffers? FPLG, 2 girls, 1 schluck, I think it's called. And Wales Golf Madrid, that Welsh man did. That's good. So I think we should boot them out. I think we follow suit. Enough's enough of these corporate types coming in and just running a mockery around the league. I'm sick of it. They bring nothing. Offer no jam either, alright? Rely on my tips, rely on my scraps, okay? Alright? And yeah, they're top of the league, but whatever, alright? Get them out, I say. If you're with me, just can you just comment a heart emoji on this post? Right, finally, reminders this week, big transfers. A lot of us would have their teams littered with City and Spurs players. I would say they've got to go, okay? They've got the or Carabao Cup, depending where you're from, this week, so they're not going to feature, okay? I think I've got 5 players, so I need to chop them. John Stones, Barnsley's finest, I'm sorry, he's got to go. And I'm bringing my original OG talisman, man like Sass, he's back at the back. One of my biggest regrets this year was when Lingard went to West Ham. I think he was up 5-0. I had a gut to sign him. I didn't. I stayed loyal. Okay, I'm loyal to an absolute. I don't know what the word is. Loyal to a fault. And I wish I signed him, but I can't resist anymore. The kid's absolute jam, so he's gone in as well. So get rid of your City players, get rid of your Spurs players. Do the needful with them big six. Just scrap them. No one likes them anyway. Okay. Paul from Reading. Good luck with pending court case. All the best, boys. Stay humble. Keep up. Back next week. Keep bringing the jam. Looking forward to it.
Wow, very interesting.
Well, he was on one today.
Yeah. So yeah, as official, well, I'm quite happy to get rid of the top 6. It brings me close to the top 50.
Yeah, might be in the other top 6. I'll be the big top 6 then.
Yeah, well, maybe we just pick random 6 people out because that's what Premier League have done. Because Arsenal, Spurs, I don't know how I've made it. But yeah, interesting. But yeah, the cup competition finishes tonight, so we'll see what happens.
So we'll have cup winners and then the weekly winner for you next week.
Yes.
So we'll have 2 weekly winners next week.
Yes, so that's the plan of action.
Beautiful.
What is happening next week? You'll be happy to know it's our 1-year anniversary, so we're going to go with something special. We are actually going to ask you guys for content information. So we'll be looking back at our 12 months running the show and our highlights and some of our
Lowlights.
Yeah, every week. But yeah, we'll be talking about some of the guests we've had on the show. But we're going to pass the agenda over to you guys. So we're going to put it out there on social media. What do you think we should discuss? What do you think our talking points should be? We'll leave right till last minute because you never know. Like the European Super League appears 1 minute, it's gone 2 days later. So people, this is your chance. I've no doubt Henry's probably rubbing his hands.
Henry's in there. Yeah.
If there's going to be something Arsenal, aka
he'll put something on Twitter, Instagram. He'll message me. He'll message you. He'll put it on Facebook.
It'll be something Arsenal related to then make Spurs look bad.
Yeah, he still thinks Arsenal are a better side than Spurs.
Yeah, we'll have Matt,
Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Yeah, we'll have Matt Bean talking about how good Man United are, but really they're not.
How great Harry Maguire is his absolute power.
Yeah, and Darryl will probably appear something to do with Wolves. We've kind of just like drifted this season, just like a ship in the night. So not really done much anything.
Just nothing.
Yeah,
just nothing.
Just a bit like our show, a bit meh.
Just a bit.
Yeah. Right. On that note, what we are going to go. We're going to go on a taste a few beverages in anticipation for next week's show. We're going to go and do a test day over at the pool bar area at the Raddison Red this evening to see what the sound quality is like, and then to look up to host a live show next week where hopefully we'll be joined by Matthew. In full with Jade's obviously permission and probably guidance, and then hopefully Larko's going to pop over as well. So
Larko will get across.
Yeah, we're looking forward to maybe hosting a live session. Well, it's going to be live with your guys' agenda, so we look forward to that. At the end of the day, Jack,
what do we know?